Hi and welcome to Chapman's Corner. I'm really excited to tell you guys that last week I went and bought myself an F1000 single-seater race car and I couldn't be more excited. Here's a few pictures of the car that I took when I went and collected it. After competing in 2 races this year, Croft and Silverstone, I just knew that I had to compete in the full championship next year and that I'll probably want to compete for a few years after that. And the best way really is to have your own car. I went on Race Cars Direct, searched for an F1000. There was a few on at the time, but found the most suitable and within my price range of 20k. Contacted the owner and drove up to Yorkshire. So this is the story of the day I collected my F1000.
It's morning, everyone! Today's the day!
So for those of you who haven't bought a race car before, there's a few tips that I'm going to give you here. I'll try not to get too technical with you guys, but would recommend doing all of the checks that I did before buying it. So first, you obviously want to turn the engine on and rev the hell out of it. There was a little bit of smoke. I think that was normal. No one seemed too concerned, especially the seller. And now we get to the really technical inspection. So buying a race car is very different to buying a road car. You don't get a V5 logbook or any proof of purchase like a receipt. There's no key to these cars. It's an ignition switch that you turn on manually. And unless you're lucky enough to have a garage or a trailer already, you're probably going to need to leave it at your team's, who's going to transport, store and maintain the car. Unfortunately, that's over 180 miles away from my house. So let me give you some details about the car. It weighs around 410 kilos. It's powered by a 1000cc Suzuki GSXR sport bike engine, which puts out around 175 brake horsepower. It was tuned by Motrack Engineering, revving up to 14,000 RPM and 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds. It's a 6-speed sequential gearbox and it came with 3 sets of tyres and rims, 2 slicks and a wet set. This car is a race winner. Elliot, who was the previous owner, was competing in the championship for a few years in 2021 and was in fact winning the championship. If any of you have previously raced an F1000 and own these cars, would love to hear your comments and your thoughts on how best to own and maintain one. Any tips or tricks for driving one as well would be appreciated. I'm definitely aiming to finish in the top 5 in the championship next year. And then hopefully in my second year, I'll be going for the win. I can't see myself rebuilding any engines anytime soon. The ultimate goal is to be able to race prep it myself, transport it on my own trailer, and possibly visit some of the F1 tracks like Spa and Hungaroring. So it's a really interesting color. It's Lhasa green, which is modeled on the Mark 1 Golf. You can see the red detailing here in the grille. This is replicated in the chassis, which is red in the F1000. For now, I'm going to keep the color. I think it looks really good and it's quite unique on the track. My original plan was to paint it Santorini blue with some carbon detailing on the wings to match my car. Unfortunately, however, someone else on the track already has a very similar color and even the exact helmet. So unfortunately, it's back to the drawing board. Of course, I'm expecting the bills to start racking up, whether it's on maintenance or on race repairs. So for now, the colour's going to stay. If you've got any ideas or if you're a designer, please comment down below what you'd do with the livery. There have already been a few changes that we've had to do and improvements on the car. Nothing too wild, fortunately. We have had to replace the seatbelts, which were out of date. I did know this on the day of purchase. There's also some rear brake pads that needed to be replaced. Of course, it needed new oil, it needed oil and fuel. And then there's just a few things like filters and basically tidying it up to make it run a bit smoother. I'm testing the car on Friday at Donington Park. I'm really excited for this. First time driving my own car out on track. Looking to dust the cobwebs off, see how it runs, see if there's any issues or faults. Then I plan to run it in the Alton Park race on the 7th of October. I'm really excited for this race, but also very nervous. This is because Alton Park looks like a very challenging track. I've been racing it on the simulator for quite a few weeks now and end up in the wall a lot of the time. The walls are extremely close. There's not a huge amount of runoff. It's very challenging with a lot of undulation, a lot of hills, very bumpy. I ended up in the wall more times than I care to count, so definitely watch this space. Click that subscribe button if you want to follow this along, see if I end up bidding it into the wall at Alton Park. I really appreciate your guys' support. I broke down the costs and entry route into F1000 in my previous video. You might want to check that out. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you guys want to know about the car, how you go about purchasing one, how you get into racing. Hopefully I'll see some of you out on track.